turnover, and Slavin will get to it, and there's a deflection as Martinook got a stick out in front. Forsberg able to hold the line now. Sharp angle, Martinook scores! Oh, Jordan Martinook! It's got to be the Sox, right? 1-0 Carolina. Costas pair, he'll hang on. He'll get it to Necas. Necas looking across the seam. Oh, scores! A power play goal for Carolina. Sebastian Aho makes it 2-0. For Stutzla. Stutzla with a spinorama creating the chance for Tkachuk. Tkachuk and Martin! Oh, mercy Spencer with 32.7 seconds left. Robin Tkachuk.
Baby. My favorite moment of the entire season. Better than Martin Necas giving Carolina a 5-4 lead on Philadelphia in the last 30 seconds. Excuse me, at the end of that monumental 90-second shift. Better than anything else. Excuse me. I'm choked up. Better than anything else I have seen this year. Spencer Martin making a save on Brady bleeping Tkachuk and then flipping him the puck. My gosh. I said it during the aftermath. I might talk about this for a month. A month, it was that good. And then I remembered that at the end of the second period, after Sebastian Aho, yes, he can score, people, after Aho gave Carolina the 2-0 lead and still had power play time, Ottawa came down and got a great opportunity, great shorthanded scoring chance that Martin saved. And then I don't know if somebody said something to him, but he waved the Senators towards their dressing room. He went, "You guys go there." I loved everything about tonight's game. I thought the Hurricanes were good again, and we can big picture the way they have played this year. Rod Brindamore said it after the game, and I think he's right. They played well in Utah. They played well in Colorado. Philadelphia, the win here over Philadelphia was probably the worst game they played since the opener. The opener was just a dud for both teams. I keep saying this. And I'll at one point during the year, I'll stop talking about the opener against Tampa, a game that neither team played well, and Carolina maybe still should have won. But they have been really good every night since. You're just not going to win every game, and in some games they can't overcome the mistakes, and that was what happened in Utah. I mean, heck, even with as poor as they were for about, I think it's a little bit longer than 3 minutes, maybe an 8-minute stretch of the third period. As poor as they were there, still could have won it with all the power play time you had. Power play was a little bit better tonight. I don't think the power play was great, but it scored twice. I think Rod was right. I don't know if he was talking about so much the Utah game. I thought there were opportunities on the power play, but I don't think they were great. I don't know that they were better than they were tonight. I thought there were some good moments tonight. And they scored the 5-on-3 power play goal, and then you get the Jackson Blake goal, which, we'll talk about him. We got a lot of things to get to tonight. I appreciate your time here on the Canes Corner podcast, live on YouTube. Rate, review, subscribe, like, share. I don't know. What do we do? What do we do with podcasts these days? I subscribe to some. You should subscribe to this one if you don't already. Shouts to Joseph in Saudi Arabia. I don't even know what time it is. I don't know what you're doing in Saudi Arabia. But I appreciate you spending this time with us as I go all Carol Burnett on some of you. No, none of you know what I'm talking about there. But anyway, we're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hannon and his crew do a great job, so you should check them out for all of your exterior home improvement needs. They can't help you in Saudi Arabia, Joseph, just so you know. Just in case you were wondering, they can't help you there. All right, so reporting in from Fayetteville. All right, yeah, I like to know where everybody is. It's about 5 a.m. and well, that wasn't even from you, Joseph. Somebody else said it's about 5 a.m. Well, could be. I have no idea what time it is. But shouts to you in Fayetteville. I assume that was Fayetteville, North Carolina. All right, let's get to, we're going to talk about Spencer Martin and some other things. So let's talk about Carolina's goaltending depth and how much they're going to need it. And I'll say it right off the bat. I hope Rod gives him the ball again. You know, you don't see goaltenders do, especially for this organization. You don't see goaltenders go back-to-back very often, but there's a little bit of reality here. The reality is Frederik Andersen, unreliable, physically unreliable. And I'll just leave it at that. I personally don't think the head coach is all that happy that Andersen is seemingly going to be out for a significant period of time. But this is what we have always known about Freddie. He is going to be 102% before he comes back to play. It's what it always has been. Pyotr Kochetkov felt like he could have played tonight, and Rod was like, nah, we're good. Sit. We'll let Yanni Peretz back up, and maybe we'll use you tomorrow. Or what you could do, even though Martin was tested a lot the last 30 minutes of the game, more than half, like 75% of his saves came after the 30-minute mark. Not 75%, but 60% of his saves came after the 30-minute mark. Actually, I can't even do the math. It's more than that. 17 of the 24 shots came after the midpoint of the game. But I still think you can go back to Martin tomorrow against the Blues, even though it's on little shorter rest, 5 o'clock start, and then give Kochetkov, who was injured in the loss in Utah, and then give Kochetkov 2 more days off before you have to put him back on the ice out in Philadelphia against the Flyers. Canes have back-to-backs. This is tonight's game. I'm going to try to get all of my thoughts out and not try to get them all out in the first 5 seconds. They are in Philadelphia on Wednesday, then New Jersey the next night. But tonight started 9 games in 15 days. So it's going to be a busy stretch for the Hurricanes through Thanksgiving because they will play 4 times Thanksgiving week. They will play, it's Dallas on Monday, the Rangers on Wednesday, all here, by the way, and then Florida, 3 o'clock the day after Thanksgiving. And then the next day they go to Florida for a 4 o'clock game on a Saturday. So, hey, that's fun, but it's a lot of hockey between now and the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So they got off to a good start with a win. But back to Spencer Martin. Greenville, North Carolina checking in. Charlotte, North Carolina checking in. Bluefield, West Virginia. Huntersville, North Carolina. I have been in all of those places. Actually, I don't think I've been in Bluefield. You have a minor league team in Bluefield, minor league baseball team, don't you? Anyway, the cool thing about Martin, and yes, I think he should start tomorrow, is that think about where Carolina grabbed him from. They plucked him off of waivers from Columbus because they needed a goalie. They were in the same predicament they are this year. Only last year they had 3 goalies and they were in this predicament because you had Andersen, who was out with the blood clot. You had Raanta and you had Kochetkov. They had 3 guys out. We need another goalie. They found Spencer Martin. They brought him in. He started on the mom's trip to Boston, and he was awesome. And then like a week and a half later, he started against Vegas, and he was awesome. So I wrote it down just for the sake of what I consider important. if you looked at his numbers last year for the Hurricanes, you would have gone, 4-1-1, 889 save percentage. He wasn't that good. Yeah, throw out the last game against Columbus. Hurricanes weren't playing for anything. Martin was just there, so it wasn't Kochetkov or Anderson. But in the other 5 games that he played, 4-0-1, 922 save percentage. And those were games that Carolina desperately needed. He was huge last year in those starts. And this year, he's played in 3 games. I contend he played well in giving up 5 goals in Colorado. I will say this forever. I thought he was really good. I know Tripp says the only goal he would nitpick was the first one, the Makar goal. Okay. The only one I would nitpick was the last one, the Rantanen goal, which I kind of felt like Martin kind of went down. But, man, what an onslaught. In less than 10 minutes, the Avalanche scored 5 goals. And he only had to make a couple of saves, but he allowed a goal in the third period against Utah, like 12 seconds after coming on. Like, hello. Anyway, I think he's played well as a Hurricane, and the Canes are lucky to have him. And I thought last year, you want to keep him because he clearly, for whatever reason, fits. And they signed him. And they signed him to Gary. He's playing on an NHL deal. He is making NHL money in the American Hockey League. He's got a full NHL contract, which most teams don't want to carry a third goaltender if they don't have to. Right now, Carolina's carrying 4 because Anderson is not on injured reserve. That's why Seth Jarvis was put on injured reserve today, because the Hurricanes needed a roster spot when they called up Yanni Peretz to back up tonight. So my guess is, and it's retroactive, so Jarvis can come off. And who knows, maybe he'll skate sometime next week. Maybe he'll play in Philadelphia. Maybe we won't see him until the homestand. You know, it could very well be then that we don't see Jarvis in the lineup. Look, I've already talked about it on the day job. I've posted it on Blue Sky, and follow us on Blue Sky at Adam Gold. Why not? I found out that Blue Sky has a desktop. I didn't even tweet today. I just skied today. What do we call it, by the way? Do we call it Sky? Do we call it Blue? I don't know. But the Jarvis thing is obviously a concern. We don't have to get into too much about why, because I think we all understand why it's a concern. Shoulder injury last year, it's upper body this year. Hopefully it's not going to be an issue the whole season. So Spencer Martin was spectacular. Spencer Martin gave us 2 unbelievable moments, the waving off of Ottawa at the end of the second period, and then the flipping Brady Tkachuk the puck. Gosh, that was so good. Late in the third period with about 30 seconds left. All right. Sebastian Aho scored a goal. Glory, hallelujah. Mwah! Thank you, Sebastian. All right. For context purposes, Aho has not played poorly at all. He's played well. Has he been the Aho that we all want? No. But he's been a good player. He's been very responsible. Face-off percentage. Actually, I didn't look at what it was going into today. I'll pull it up here in a second. Aho's obviously, he should be leading the team in scoring, right? Although the way Necas is playing, it will almost be a shock if Necas doesn't lead the team in scoring. Aho in faceoffs this year, 52.6% in terms of guys who have taken a lot of faceoffs. He is second on the team. I want to get Jack Drury leads the team at 55.5%. Jordan Staal second at 53.8%. Then it's Aho at 52.6%. Kotkaniemi just over 500, but this is before tonight where Kotkaniemi went 9 out of 10 in the faceoff circle tonight. So good for him. But Aho's had a good year. Just hasn't had a good offensive year yet. And with all that said, he's almost at a point a game. We should all be struggling like that. But he had an empty net goal against the Devils in the second game of the season. A couple of 3-on-3 overtime goals. So tonight, even though it was 5-on-3, still doesn't have a 5-on-5 goal this year. That's odd, isn't it? But with this being the 16th game of the season, this was the first real goal in regulation. It's stunning. It's stunning to me. But he's playing well. And I thought he played very well tonight in the win. In fact, that line was weird, right? I thought Andre was good. Andre drew a couple of penalties. I thought Roslovic was arguably the best player on the line tonight defensively. He was excellent defensively tonight. But Aho did show you, he showed you some of the flair. And maybe this is the goal that gets him going. Maybe this is the one that gets him going because it was a big goal. Carolina needed a power play goal. I know it was 5-on-3, but they needed a power play goal because the power play had really dried up. Going in, it was 2 for its last 20. Got stymied on the first one. And that one was actually, was it the second one or the third one? I don't know how that works because it was in the 5-on-3 in the overlap of it. And or the third one or the fourth one. Don't even know anymore. But you get the power play goal. It's Aho, and it's the end of the period, so you get the momentum. And then Aho, in the intermission interview with Hannah Yates, talked about needing to come out to start the third period, take advantage of the fresh ice, and early period power plays are sometimes problematic because you're not in a rhythm. You're not in a flow. But great net front by Andre to bother Anton Forsberg. And then he batted the puck free. And then Jackson Blake just jumped on it and very, very calmly slid it through for a 3-0 lead. I was shocked. I didn't even realize that Travis Green pulled his goalie with just over 5 minutes to play. William Carrier just skated. I was like, what are we doing here? Oh, look at that. There's no goalie. I literally didn't realize that Travis Green had pulled the goaltender. So there was a lot of good things about the Aho goal that went even beyond the fact that Aho scored it. All right, let's just see what much time we've got left. We have enough time. Defensively for Carolina tonight, Slavin and Burns were excellent. I think they have been primarily very, very good all year. I've said this before. We're still waiting for Brent Burns' offense to come back. But while we're waiting for the offense to come back, I just want to appreciate the fact that Brent Burns has been so damn good defensively. He's been excellent defensively. So shouts to you, Brent Burns. But to me, tonight, the two stars defensively were Jalen Chatfield and Shane Gostisbehere. Chatfield made a couple of really, really good defensive plays. So as I was making my notes in the first period, I do believe that it was Riley Gregg who was in front of the net and was about to score, to me, into basically to slide it around a down and out Spencer Martin. And I think it was Chatfield who came from behind and just bodied him off the puck. And he missed the net. I mean, he basically missed an empty net. And then I think it was on the power play, on one of Ottawa's power plays, where he had Tim Stützle. So he had to defend him all over the right side of the ice. And he stayed with him the entire time. He did not allow Stützle in this particular sequence to get a shot off. That's not easy. Carolina does a lot of that. That might not have been on a power play. That might have been at 5-on-5. Either way, I mean, Stützle is an elite level player. It's just great defending. I thought Chatfield was really good. all night long. So Chatfield and Gostisbehere, to me, were Carolina's two best blue liners tonight. And it's impossible to underestimate just how good Gostisbehere and Walker have been as a tandem. While they're not the direct replacements, because Orlov and Chatfield have bumped up, but think about having Skjei and Pesce for the last 3 years just completely bossing the game the way they did. And how do you replace that? Those are different players, and again, they're not the direct replacement. But man, hat tip to Eric Tulsky and company for doing that. Gostisbehere has been awesome. Walker has been excellent. I got a chance to meet him tonight. He is very, very happy to be here. He's got a great handshake too, for what that's worth, if that matters, and I think it does. All right, 2 more things I'm going to address before we dump out of here. Kyle says KK is playing so well. I do not disagree. It's funny, that line was a little quiet tonight. Didn't have great offensive moments tonight. Had a couple, but it didn't have great offensive moments. But I thought that line did a lot defensively, and I think KK was excellent in the faceoff circle. I want to see them get, the KK, Roslovic, some of these other guys get a little bit more power play time. It's a little top heavy for me. I think it would also put a little heat on the top unit to be a little bit more effective. But yeah, I think KK not only did play well tonight, I think KK has played very well so far this year. Long term, until proven otherwise, I still think Carolina could use an upgrade in the number 2 center spot. But as we sit here today, maybe they don't. Right? It's only been 16 games. So just like we're not going to hand Martin Necas the Hart Trophy or even make him a finalist, because it's only been 16 games. My thought process is down the road, this year, they're going to need a better number 2 center. But maybe they won't. Certainly the Jesperi Kotkaniemi we've seen over the first 16 games. You'd like a little bit more offense, only got 2 goals. But, if that part of his game can kick on a little bit, then maybe they don't. Jackson Blake, he belongs in the NHL, doesn't he? So I kind of joke around about, we know how good the Staal line is with Martinook, and whether it's Carrier or Jarvis, doesn't matter. And I think it jumped out to me when Jarvis was still healthy, and hopefully he'll be back soon, that the only difference between the way the Staal line plays and the way the Drury line plays when Carrier is there with Blake on the right, just like Jarvis on the right with Martinook on the left in the Staal line. The only thing different about those 2 lines is size. Drury plays a similar game to Jordan Staal. Obviously not as good as Jordan Staal. It's a little quicker. And again, Staal does a lot because he's just, almost 2 people. But the way Drury plays, direct, defensive-minded, Carrier and Martinook, similar styles, and then you get Jarvis and Blake. So I basically call the Drury line like the baby captain line. And to me, Jarvis is like the bee at the picnic that you just can't get rid of. And Jackson Blake is kind of the same thing, only slightly smaller. So one is a hornet, and the other is maybe a bumblebee. But neither is fun at the picnic. Man, Jackson Blake's everywhere. He hounded pucks tonight all night. This kid belongs in the NHL. He belongs in the NHL. And it's exciting to see him here. I'm glad he got the shot. I'm glad he's taking advantage of it. 5 goals. Kid's got 5 goals. He is a flyweight. He's going to get stronger. But man, can he play. Somebody said to me today, good friend, said that Blake reminds him of Jarvis as a rookie. And I agree. He does. Here's what the only thing different for me is that Blake might be a better playmaker than Jarvis. Now, in no way am I suggesting that Blake is a better player. Seth Jarvis is special. I mean, big time special. Blake might be a better offensive player than Jarvis. But don't forget about Jarvis and the two-way game. Don't forget that. You know, he's a vital part of the penalty kill. I just hope that we're going to be able to see Seth Jarvis play for the majority of the year. It's a concern of mine. It should be a concern of everybody's. I know it's a concern in that locker room because he has been that good. All right, the power play got clicked. Got 2 goals tonight in 5 tries. The penalty kill continued to be good. A lot of that, of course, was the goaltender. And with the Devils losing, getting shut out in Tampa. Was it Tampa tonight? Yes, in Tampa tonight, the Hurricanes move 2 points closer to the top of the division. They have 5 games in hand. They're 2 points behind the Devils with 5 games in hand, and we will see New Jersey in New Jersey on Thursday. Philadelphia and New Jersey Wednesday and Thursday. Then I think they play Saturday in Columbus, and then they are home for the Thanksgiving week before ending it in Florida on I guess it's the 30th. That's the Saturday, right? The 25th is a Monday. They'll be here against Dallas. The 27th, a Wednesday against the Rangers. How much fun is that going to be? Then Florida the day after Thanksgiving, an afternoon game, and then the afternoon on Saturday. So very, very, very good. John asks, Lightning NC says, or a Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jackets hurt. Ever get stung by a Yellow Jacket? Man, they hurt forever. I don't think Jackson Blake's a Yellow Jacket. At least not yet. But it is a smaller bee than a hornet. There's no question about that. Is there a chance, according from John, that Necas could ever play center at some point? Is there a chance? Yeah, there's a chance. I would say that it's got to be better than 30% in the faceoff circle. That's what he is. And keep this in mind, he's only taking draws on the right side. And he's at 30%. Is actually, I don't know what he was tonight, but it wasn't quite 30% going into tonight. So could he? Yeah. Will he? I doubt it. Here's the thing that Rod will stress. One, the face-off, that's a big deal. But the other part is when you see the way Necas is playing, why would you want to jeopardize that dynamic ability by giving him a responsibility that can take away from it? In this system, centers have an enormous responsibility defensively. KK's got to deal with that. Aho's got to deal with that. Staal, Drury, all have to deal with it. I think the team would much rather have Necas be, a point-a-game guy playing the wing than maybe 0.75 points a game playing the center. Especially since he's not really good in the circle. So, to me, pardon me while I think I have something in my eye. For me, they could. I don't think they will. And I don't think they have to. And look, Did he play center as a young guy growing up? I think somebody told me that he played center in the World Championships. Look, I think all of it is a little bit of a different story. And maybe down the road he will play center. But I don't know that it's a priority for him. I think too much has been made of that. I think the priority for him was simply to be relied upon. And look at the ice time. The ice time says he's relied upon. It's a dead giveaway with this head coach. If the head coach values what you can do, you get ice time. You just do. By the way, it is interesting to see. It happened last year, but it's been pretty noticeable to me this year. Jordan Staal's been 15 minutes a game or less most nights, I think. Certainly right around that. It hasn't been the 18 or 19 minutes a night because Rod knows he can't do that. He'll wear him out. You know, Jordan is, I know he looks like he's 22. Oh, man. It's been fun. It's been fun. All right. We got to get out of here. Tomorrow, St. Louis, 5 o'clock. The Storm Watch will start at 4:30. But we'll be here after because we always are on the Canes Corner podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. You can give us a rating and review. You can share. You can like. You can tell your friends. You can do whatever you like. Join us always live on YouTube. And, of course, it's available wherever you get your podcast if you're just going to listen to the podcast like most people do. We're just a select club here at on YouTube. The live version of it, it's really just for us. Everybody else, they get it later. You get like a sneak preview. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can see it at the bottom of your screen right there. AluminumCompany.com for everything for the exterior of your home. You can check them out at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Siding, roofing, windows, doors, storm doors, gutter helmets. Gutter helmets are cool. You'll keep your gutters clean, crystal clean. You'll never have to get on a ladder again. All right, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Canes and the Blues, as they try to start another winning streak. They have won 1 in a row. Until, we'll see you.